Hello, this is Catherine Marie, and you are listening to the Long COVID Real Talk podcast. Welcome, and thanks for tuning in. Today, I wanted to talk about something that may sound kind of silly, but it has important points in it, and I think you'll understand what I mean. But today, we're going to talk about how to make cupcakes with long COVID. Now, the reason why I was making cupcakes is because my little one has a stuffed animal that she just got from her auntie. And she decided that it was that stuffed animal's birthday. And we have been struggling with school a little bit because school just started for the first time for her. And we have been kind of, well, I've been frankly grasping at pretty much anything to get her to look forward to something, because it's been rough. It's been a rough transition. And one of the things that I said was we should make cupcakes for the stuffed animal for their birthday party. And she said, "Oh, I want to make cupcakes and cake." And I said, "Okay, yeah, okay." So we decided that the type of cake that we were going to make is funfetti, which is one of my favorites. And pretty much every little kid I know likes funfetti because they have the sprinkles in them, in the cake as well as on top of the frosting. And it's just very good cake. So I bought all of the things. Actually, I had all of them delivered. And then I picked her up from school and we came home and we made cupcakes. First we did the cake. We did a two-layer circle cake. And then we did 24 cupcakes. So what I wanted to talk about specifically from a long COVID perspective is how I made cupcakes with long COVID, because if you are like me, you have a really, really, really hard time making food in the kitchen because of the heat intolerance and also because of the POTS, or the postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, where your heart rate goes up. And for me, my blood pressure goes up as well when I stand up. And it gets worse and worse the longer I stand. And I have other symptoms when I'm standing after a while, like a headache, lightheadedness. It's like my eyes have trouble adjusting. I just feel super flush, really hot, and kind of out of breath, just from standing for a while. So we're trying to learn how to live with having long COVID. That's basically my whole purpose in my life right now, is to try to figure out how to do this, because it seems like long COVID is not going anywhere anytime soon. And as much as I hope that there will be cures or a cure, I don't see that happening anytime soon, because we don't even have treatments to help with the symptoms for it, let alone a cure, like low-dose naltrexone is not covered by insurance. We're so far behind with even treatments for long COVID. So I don't have a lot of faith in us having a cure or treatments anytime soon. So I have to learn how to live with long COVID, right? Okay, so let me tell you the different things that I did and things that I wish I had done. So first, I did not go to the grocery store. I can't remember if it was through DoorDash or Instacart, but it was a delivery service. I just ordered 2 boxes of the Pillsbury Funfetti cake mix, and I ordered 3 Funfetti icing containers, because I know that little ones love to put icing on cakes and they tend to use a lot of it. And so I wanted to make sure that we had enough. So the other thing that I wish that, the one thing that I wish that I had done is I wish I had limited us to either cupcakes or a cake, because I was so exhausted by the time we finished. I slept, I went to bed and I slept through till the next morning. I think I went to bed around, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 in the evening. And I just slept straight through because I was so tired after doing this baking. So first we did the cake, and one of the things that I did was I pulled a chair up to um, the counter. And thankfully, we have a very low counter on one side of our kitchen. So there was enough space for the little one to stand on a chair and do things like help with mixing and everything. And then I was sitting next to her, and that worked well. It helped me not to get too tired or too flushed too frequently or too much. If I were to do it again, I think what I would do is I would do all of the dough first and then pour it into the pans, the 2 circle pans for the cake, and then the little cupcake tins for the cupcakes, and then turn on the oven and then cook everything. Because my mistake was I did them one at a time. So I did the cake first, and of course I'm preheating the oven at 350, and I realized, oh, this is not going well because I'm sweating profusely and I I don't feel that well, but I was trying to push through for my daughter, which I know is a terrible thing to do when you have long COVID. But you know, uh, I'm trying to get better, I swear. Um, So I think if I were to do it over again, I would not preheat the oven. I would just do the dough all together at once and then pour it into the tins and everything, and then cook one and then the other and then turn the oven off. So to have the oven on just for the cooking, so I don't have to prep and do the dough in a hot kitchen, because that's something that I realized after the fact was really not the best idea, to turn on the oven while I was making mixing up the dough. If I almost did this, I didn't, because I've because my daughter has been using my ice packs lately, but so they're never in the freezer and cold. But I have these wraparound ice packs that wrap around my head. I think, I can't remember what they're called, but I got them on Amazon. And a lot of times when I'm in the kitchen, if I have to make something, I try to always sit in a chair whenever possible and not stand up. And then secondly, I try to put an ice pack either around my head or around my neck. So that way I stay a little cooler that way. But I did not do that this time. I kind of wish I had, but like I said, I didn't have my headache wraps in the freezer at the time. So I think those are the main things. I think between the pots and the heat intolerance, and just being easily fatigued, as we all know, that's a huge symptom of long COVID. So yeah, so one thing would be to, going through it again one more time. I would not go to the store. I would order things to be delivered, because that's an energy expenditure. Then I would limit myself to either cupcakes or cake and not make both. for a stuffed animal's pretend birthday party, although it was a smashing success, let me tell you. Or, yeah, cupcakes or cake. And then I would not do the preheating and make the cake and then make the cupcakes after, so that the oven's on the whole time and the kitchen's really hot. I would just make the dough first, put it in the pans, turn on the oven, and then you don't have to be in the kitchen when it's cooking, you know? Um, and then, of course, using a chair. And the other thing that I've been noticing lately is sometimes I'll get really, like I used to do a lot of my life on adrenaline. I have ADHD, and I think that that's part of the reason, because it helps me focus. And I think a lot of us with long COVID have ADHD, actually. And that's one of the things that I think makes it really hard for a lot of us to pace, because we're not used to pacing, because we're used to using adrenaline to get through things in life. So I'm used to just getting excited and rushing through and then using that to be really productive. But when you're doing things with a small person, you can't really use adrenaline, because especially when you have long COVID, because the adrenaline, it makes me hot and sweaty, and it makes all my symptoms worse. It's like as if I'm in a hot, it's like heat, it feels like heat intolerance, because your body's just super ramped up, you know? So I tried really hard to just stay really focused on the moment. And I didn't, but I was prepared to lay down on the ground in the kitchen, which I know sounds really severe, but I guess most kitchens have hard floors, and they're, we have, we keep it clean, because we hired somebody to do that for us, because, well, because of the long COVID, but we did have help before that, to be honest. So, but there's no way I could do it now at all. Um, but anyway, sometimes when I am doing something with my little one and I start to feel really flushed, I will just immediately either lay down on a couch, lay down on a bed, or lay down on the ground. And usually the ground is really cool. It feels really cool. So it usually helps me equilibrate, equalize, whatever the word is, and feel better sooner. So, okay, well, that is everything I can think of about how to make cupcakes with long COVID. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk again real soon. Okay, take care. Bye.